Welcome back to Quest for Freedom, where today I am super excited for the first time in this entire podcast to have a very special guest and dear friend, Osman Sharif, join me. Hi, Osman.
Hello. Thank you for having me. It means a lot.
It feels like it's a perfect kind of journey to have you along on because, as I know, when I shifted into this Quest for Freedom podcast, it was a journey. It is sort of a narrative journal of where I'm heading as I try and uncover for you and me and everybody who's listening how to have more everyday personal and professional and freedom. And we're on to season 5 now, which is pretty neat. And this is about mindset freedom. And the reason why I'm bringing Osman in to chat with me and jam with me is because this is his jam. This is what he lives and breathes every single day. And he has helped me shift so many things in my mindset. He's helped me unblock some little sabotaging beliefs that I've had. He's helped me go back in my timeline and look at things in the past that may have affected where I'm at now. He's helped me shift things. It's made a huge and profound impact on my life, but also the people that I've had along at my Freedom Mastermind retreats. In fact, I'd say he's my most popular person at those retreats. Sometimes I feel he should just run them for me because everybody's like, Natalie, I really liked what you presented here on business or outsourcing, but Osman, he transformed my mind. So Osman, do you want to just share a little bit about who you are so people know a little bit more about your background?
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you for that compliment, first of all, for the retreats. It's always wonderful working with the entrepreneurs that are there. Over the last 10 and a half years, I have been growing my own business here in Scotland, where I'm based. And my company's called Rapid Transformation. And I'm absolutely passionate about helping individuals, especially that are on that journey, which can be exciting, but also challenging at times of entrepreneurship and growing your own business. And I'm a performance coach and I really specialize on helping individuals to really master what's happening in their mind so it's working for them, and also to really embrace and uncover what their personality is and their talents so that they basically make life as easy as they possibly can for themselves.
Well, that all sounds pretty fantastic. And I think it's a great one to start in on because today we really want to discuss the good old comparisonitis, when the comparison game, when you're always looking at people who seem like they have it all together, that they have these perfect lives and these amazing careers and businesses, and you start comparing yourself with them. And then ultimately what you start doing is stopping. You stop what you were doing because you feel that you can't even compare, or you sabotage your own efforts because you think you're never going to be as good as them. And Osman, you've probably seen this time and time again with your clients, and I'm sure it's probably one of the things that you help them with most. So do you want to talk a little bit more about why the heck do we do this and how can we stop doing it?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the key things is, the way I think about it is, it's pretty hard not to compare. Okay, so let me explain what I mean by that. Especially if you're going and starting your business, and I typically work with individuals that have left a corporate role, okay, or a job, and they're embarking upon this as a new way of life. So naturally, when someone is taking that step, they are looking at, well, who else is out there? What are they doing? And thinking about what can they learn from them. So it's good in one hand so that it can inspire us to basically take action and to move the direction of our lives. But when we then fall into that trap of basically looking at things and comparing too much, that's when it can get really dangerous as well, Natalie.
Yeah.
So that can be very much around looking at, well, just because the other person in your industry is doing things in a certain way, that doesn't mean that actually that's the best way for you. And all too often when I'm working with my clients, they typically come to me because things are going okay, but they want it to be a lot better. They want it to be flying. And we're often having to kind of look at, well, what have they been doing and what are they not doing? And then basically uncovering what's the best strategy, what's the best game plan for them. And quite often it's completely different from what they thought. And when they look at it, they go, well, I was only doing that because I thought I should do it, or that's the only way to do it, or that's the best way to do it as well. So literally, as we say, we can become our own worst enemies when we start to compare ourselves either consciously or unconsciously. And what I mean by that then is, if you're watching something, even if it's like a TED Talk or listening to someone's podcast, listen out for the little words that you're saying to yourself, like, it's good for them, or I wish I could do that, because that then again allows you to see what you might be starting to believe and how you're comparing your business or your life compared to others as well.
I agree. And so often behind the scenes, we don't have any idea what's going on in those people's lives.
Definitely.
We also don't know how long they've been doing what they've been doing. And, I'll speak about this because I still do it even today. I catch myself a lot more early now. And one thing that's really helped me, quite honestly, is getting off social media. I'm about to do, it sounds horrible, I'm about to do a friend cull on Facebook because there's just so many people that I've had friend me over the years who I don't actually know. And I'm a big believer now that you should only really have people on there who you truly care about, who you've met, who you like, who can add value to your life. And the part of the reason why I'm doing it is because all I see now are ads and ads and ads from internet marketers and all these things. And I'm like, I just don't want to actually see them. I just want to see my friends, and I want to curate who I'm following and only see things from people that I respect and admire and can learn from, rather than looking at people in a similar industry who are just, talking a good talk, but not necessarily walking the good walk. And the minute I've done this, I've taken Facebook off my phone. I literally am now not checking Facebook online very much. It's crazy how much space it's freed up and how much space internally in my mind it's given me to not judge and to not perceive and to not compare.
Absolutely, definitely.
I don't know if you want to add anything else about when people do get into that stage, because there are sometimes when you are stuck in, oh, they're doing so much better than me, or my gosh, they must be earning a ton, or why can't I have that, or why isn't this going well today? What are some of the things that you think help people snap out of that pretty quickly? Because I do think we've been talking about rewiring your brain. It's often there's just trigger points, and if you can be conscious of them and aware of them, you can stop them in their tracks.
Definitely. I think one of the things to really look at and question is, for example, even looking at the other person you might be comparing yourself to and ask yourself, do they actually have a very similar personality to you? Okay. Or is it different? And that's kind of why whenever I'm working with my clients, and Natalie, that's a core part of when we work together on the retreats in the past, I kind of very much help understand and let people discover what is their entrepreneurial superpower through the wealth dynamics profile. Because for me, and again, I can share my own experience, when I first started in the business world, I was a NLP trainer, neuro-linguistic programming. And the biggest person in our industry, even though he doesn't call it NLP, is Tony Robbins. And I remember thinking, well, if I want to be super successful, I need to be like a Tony Robbins type of organization. But then anytime that I would actually, and you'll laugh at this because you know me really well now, but anytime that if I was doing like a big conference or a workshop, etc., and I was thinking, right, okay, I need to be like it. Don't worry, I didn't do that kind of that fancy hand clapping thing that he does. But anytime that I would try and emulate some of those strategies, it would just feel weird to me, okay? And people that knew me would also go, oh, something's just changed from you. And then when I actually kind of figured out in terms of, well, he's a completely different personality from me, so no wonder that doesn't work for me, okay? That's when actually it was like I gave myself permission to go, there's so many other ways to actually use strategies and to grow your business and different approaches. And now whenever I'm looking at other, people, what they're doing, or at conferences, or listening to podcasts, or reading books, I still always go, that's great, I love that, but how would that work for me? Okay, because sometimes I go, oh, that person's like a creator profile, that's different for me. Well, how could I take elements of that to make it work for me? So you just want to make sure that, you never are going to compare anybody like apples by apples, because everybody is completely unique. But personality is one of the key things, Natalie, that where I see people they kind of are emulating or role modeling the wrong people. And therefore, no wonder it's feeling like it's holding them back as well.
Absolutely. And it never feels good. It feels icky. It doesn't feel in alignment. And I think we often get caught up in the glam side of it, like wanting to be more like them, wanting to put them up on a pedestal. But you're so right. Those people are where they're at and doing what they're at because that's their unique personality that works well for them and doing that particular thing. And for us, it might be something totally different. In fact, I want to tell you a little story. We ran a mastermind workshop here the other day in our co-working barn in New Zealand. And I asked everybody to tell me what their word was for 2018. So what was one word that you can focus on that summarizes how you want 2018 to go for you? So Osman, have a think about that while I'm talking about the story. And a lot of people said freedom. Some people people said clarity, others said growth, a few said focus, because throughout the workshop we realized a lot of people hadn't got a great strategy in place and they weren't focused. Two of the main problems that came through. And I said, well, my word for 2018 is fearless. And everybody looked at me and stopped and laughed. And I was like, what? And they're like, you're not already fearless? And it was just really fascinating moment to see their perception of me as just this person who just goes and does and takes action and follows their dreams. Whereas to me, I was like, oh, I feel like I've been holding some back. Like I want to become a truth sorcerer next year, as in I source the truth. And I want to be much more kind of bold and out there with just really revealing more about what I think and my opinions on things and having more to say and digging deeper into research, presenting the facts in the way that I want to. But it was just really interesting in that moment to see in their perception, they already had me as this person who was quite fearless. And in my mind, that wasn't the case. So isn't that interesting? So I'd imagine another way to flip this comparisonitis is to think about the person who's doing what they're doing and think about all the doubts that they might be having each day. Like, gosh, I'm not as good as this person who's miles ahead of me or feels like they are, or I'm not achieving what I want because my friend here is doing $1 million and I'm only doing, $500,000, yet to somebody who's back at 50,000, that seems huge. So do often try and put yourself in that person's shoes. Empathy is a fantastic tool to have, and often empathy and understanding where that person has come from and how they got to where they got can, I think, dispel comparisonitis quite quickly, because then you get the full picture and you go, there's a lot more to this than I'm seeing.
Exactly. And also remembering, I think there's another dimension that comes into this as well, is everybody does actually want different things. Things are important for you and it might be different for me. And that's kind of where our values come in. And I remember a good few years ago, Natalie, where, obviously I kind of surround myself with lots of different kind of peers, and a lot of them were like you, were traveling around the world. And I remember kind of getting to the point going, oh, that looks great. And then I actually kind of thought, and I was like, do you know something? That is a different lifestyle from me. I love actually being kind of grounded in Scotland. I do love traveling here and there, but I do like having this base. And obviously I've got 2 boys now and stuff. So therefore, what's actually important to me, it can be different depending on different choices and our values as well. So again, just make sure that you actually are living what your values are and not thinking it actually has to look like somebody else's life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So this has been the first of many wonderful episodes to come as we delve deeper into mindset freedom. And I think starting with comparisonitis is really important, because I think, as we've both seen working with our clients over the years, and that's like close to 20 years of business between us, this is the number one. I would say, for me anyway, and for my clients, it's often the number one. When you really dig back to everything else, it comes back to a sense of self-worth, and then also looking at other people rather than focusing on your brilliant self. So I hope that you tune in and listen to more of these. You'll be able to find the show notes for this episode and more details about Osman over at nataliesisson.com/27. I'd also like you to know that on January 15th, we are going live with the next Freedom Lab called Master Your Mindset. And I'm delighted to be running this Freedom Lab with Osman. So it's going to be 8 weeks of live and intensive rapid transformation shifts for your mindset. We're going to be delving deep into a lot of topics. And if you'd like to know the full details and get on the VIP list, go to nataliesisson.com/mindset. Is there anything you wanted to add to that, Osman? Because we're really excited about this. This is our first joint venture online together. We've done lots of workshops and retreats, but I'm really excited about this.
Definitely. I think the key thing is it's about, we can often just fall into the trap of thinking we need to get the next, shiny object or the next, software tool, for example. But this is an opportunity to actually upgrade the most important software that we have, actually the software in our mind. So I'm really excited. Mindset is a huge topic, and even through the 8 weeks, we're going to be looking at it, basically getting underneath the bonnet of what's happening in your mind and really helping you to basically set yourself up for continued success in your business, but also in your life as well. So there's lots of exciting things to share, and I can't wait to get started.
I agree. It's fantastic. So tune in to the next episode, and otherwise come across to nataliesisson.com/27 for more details on everything we've talked about here today. And finally, please stop comparing yourself to others, because you are your own unique ingredient in this world, and the world needs more of you.